Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter, Steven, and Shane. Say what up, guys.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, nerds?
Welcome back to Commander Grades. That is right. We are here to discuss all of the monocolored legendary creatures from Bloomburrow as potential helms of a 99 Commander deck. That is right. We're going through all of the monocolored today. If you guys wanted to see the multicolored or the precon ones, check in the description. If we release the videos when you're watching this video, the links will be there. Otherwise, stay subscribed. They're coming soon. But let's go ahead and get started with this first card. It is the mono white one. It is Beza, the Bounding Spring. 2 and 2 white for a 4/5 legendary creature, Elemental Elk. It says when it enters, create a treasure token if an opponent controls more lands than you. You gain 4 life if an opponent has more life than you. Create 2 1/1 bluefish creature tokens if an opponent controls more creatures than you. And draw a card if an opponent has more cards in hand than you. This is a pretty cool card, especially when it comes to blinking, right, Steven?
Yeah, but the only thing that I don't like is at some point you just run out of stuff to do because eventually you'll have more life, you'll have more creatures, you'll have more cards in hand. So really the only thing that you're going to kind of gain access to with blinking is the treasures. And that's if an opponent has more lands than you.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Um I do like the fact because obviously you can kind of refill your hand a little bit, but other than that, it's kind of mediocre in my mind.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah, I
more
think
like a
it's.
support piece, dude. I'll be honest.
I don't know if it's a support piece because you mentioned it's going to stop doing that thing if you have all more of that stuff. I feel like if you have all more of that stuff, you're probably doing pretty well, no?
If you have all more of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not making tokens, then you're, or if you're not making treasures, you're pretty good. If you're not gaining life, you're pretty good. If you're not making the fish, you're pretty good, and you're not drawing, then you're. I feel like all of those things combined, you're probably in a solid position at that point. Obviously, you'll only blink this when you need to blink it, but this is so much better of a card in a commander standpoint rather than like a standard standpoint, just because it's any opponent. If any of those opponents have more than you, then you just gain that extra.
Mm.
That,
Yeah, but it
that
just kind of puts you back to a point where your opponents are at because it's not setting you, with massive life gain over a bunch of people. It's not really getting you a ton of creatures unless you're playing against somebody with a ton of, creatures on the board. And it's not really putting you in a spot where you're going to have a ton of extra cards in your hand because you're only going to draw so much.
well, that's why I'm saying
So,
blink this, and you can continue to blink this. Then you can continue to make your board bigger,
yeah,
make
but like
your life
why
total
why
bigger.
would I put you're basically you're telling me I need to fill my deck with a bunch of blink things, and what else am I going to put in it as a win con? So I mean,
Blink is a
in
win.
my, I don't really enjoy this card as a commander. I think what Shane was saying as a support piece is kind of nice in a blink style deck. I think to kind of get you to that point, but I don't want to build my deck around this one card, putting a bunch of blink style effects. I'd rather have a bunch of other things that I can throw in as well. I think this is just very one dimensional.
Doesn't feel like
What
you're
do you
winning
think?
the game. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I do think it's better suited in a support piece. I just don't see that lane. I mean, I understand what you're describing. I just know that, like, or I just think that you're not really doing anything. Like, what else is the deck doing then? I just don't see it. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a commander to me.
All right, well, let's move on to the grades. I will kick us off. I'm probably the highest here. I'm still going to give it middle of the road, though. It is going to be a C from me.
Yeah, you're the
I mean,
highest.
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Shane.
You are the highest. I think I'm gonna give it a D.
I mean, I will give it a C because I think that there are some ways to kind of make it fun, but like I just don't think it's super super powerful.
Wow. Well, Beza the Bounding Spring gets the average grade of a C. That was the only mono white card. Moving on to the mono blue, starting with Eluge the Shoreless Sea. It is 1 and 3 blue for a star legendary creature elemental fish. It says its power and toughness are each equal to the number of islands you control. And it says whenever it enters or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types for as long as it has a flood counter on it. And it also says the first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs a blue or generic mana less to cast for each land you control with a flood counter on it. Shane, when this was first spoiled, you were extremely high on this. You said you were going to build a deck around it. What do we think of Eluge?
I was high on it. I am still pretty damn high on it, dude. I love the discounting effect. Typically, when I play cards that have discounting effects, it stays in the whole colorless realm. So the fact that this is discounting colored mana, I think is insane for the deck. I think that you can just explode. You're gonna have I can see turns where you can cast things. I mean, I'm not gonna say for free if it's like an 8 mana spell, obviously, but you can get really, really big chunky spells for like half the price, and that advantage is nuts. Plus, you're kind of a big dumb beater here, which I get. I know it's big dumb beater, but pretty sick, dude. And there's ways to get Island Walk. Like this deck is going to be insane. I am gonna play it.
Yeah, see, that's where I was going with. Island Walk is pretty cool because it just says target land. It doesn't have to be your lands. So if you target someone else's land, that doesn't even matter what color land that's they're running. It's now an island.
Yep.
Anything that you have Island Walk, you can just get in for free damage at that point.
Yep.
And then, because like you mentioned, it does take off the blue colored mana. Yes, you've got one blue mana spells that are just really good in Magic. They are just free. So that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't even feel like we need to really talk more about this card. I think this is just an amazing card.
You like it a lot too, huh?
Oh yeah.
I think
Right.
just the first time it enters, like you mentioned the whole like 1 mana spell. That's insane, dude. So this comes down and any cantrip that's 1 mana is free now after you play him. Like that's really, really strong. Insane card advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead and move on to the grades. Shane, kick us off.
I'm a biased blue player and it's an A, dude.
Biased blue player all starts with B's to me, so I'm going to give this a B.
Yeah, it's not a B. It's definitely an A. Mono blue that gives you cost reduction on color. Yeah, okay.
Well, all right. Eluge, the Shoreless Sea, gets the average grade of an A. Moving on to another mono blue legendary creature, it's Kitsa, Otterball Elite. Super cute. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 legendary creature, Otter Wizard. It's got vigilance, it's got prowess, it's got an ability where you can tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. It also has an ability where you can pay 2, tap it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if Kitsa's power is 3 or greater. Interesting.
Very interesting. It's got vigilance though, so that's good. That's like the redeeming
Yeah.
factor here.
Go in with the damage first and then do the
Right.
abilities after.
Right.
hmm
Because it's got the
It's nice.
prowess. Yeah, you'd be bumping it up, and then afterwards you can discard or draw discard. Like, I can see this being a thing.
It's kind of like a crappier Stella Lee.
Yeah, it's definitely in a realm that already exists. We've seen the copy effects plenty of times. This
Yeah.
has the stipulation of making it only be able to copy if its power is 3 or greater. So technically, you would have to put a thing on the stack and then you pay the ability tap it to target that. But because it's the prowess trigger is actually underneath that, so it doesn't see its power being 3 or greater yet. So you'd have to do like 2 more
That's
instant
weird.
sorceries to get it higher, or just obviously put equipment on it. But I think it's a weird kind of effect.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this being a commander
I think
because
yeah.
obviously the prowess is nice, the copying the spell is really nice, but in order to do that, A, jumping through all those hoops, and then B, after casting those spells, you need to still have 2 mana to tap it and copy it. So that's kind of where I get turned off on this card.
I think that this is a fantastic piece to go in that Bria, the other prowess otter. That's fantastic. I don't know if I'd put him at the helm, but definitely a great
Yeah,
support piece.
it is a good support piece. I know Steven, you had mentioned Stella Lee as a better copy commander, and I agree. It's also two colors, whereas this is just one. Um, but yeah, Kits is cool. I like the art. I think it's very cute. Otter Wizard is fun to say, but I just don't. I don't think this is doing it for me at the helm.
Yeah. If you're playing otters, you're probably not playing this at the as the commander.
Yeah, like you said, Bria, pretty good. We will get to that in the multicolored. But let's go ahead and move on to the grades for Kitsa itself. Steven, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give this a D.
Yeah, I am actually going to agree with you. It's not doing it for me. It is a D.
It's a blue otter. I gotta at least. Nah, okay, it's a D.
Sorry about it. Kitsa Otterball Elite gets the average grade of a D. Moving on to the Amanda show. It's Maha. It's Feather's Night. If you understand that reference, comment down below. 3 and 2 black for a 6/5 legendary creature. Elemental bird. It's got flying. It's got trample. It's got ward. Discard a card. And it says creatures your opponent's control have base toughness 1.
You
I love
this
it.
card, yeah.
I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, I did not open one of these in my play or bundle, which is a bummer. So
Hashtag buy singles.
buy the single, yeah, I probably will. I probably will build around it because I am a fan of this, and I don't have a mono black deck. I think this is a really cool lane. The way I kind of built it, just playing around with it, is -1/-1 counters is a thing. You can
Yeah.
also just give things -1/-1 until end of turn. That just continuous board wipes for your opponents and not your stuff. So really cool.
Yeah, I think that -1/-1 counter lane is definitely a way to build Maha here. Very hefty.
Yeah.
I will say that 5 mana is kind of scary. Dies once or twice, and you're gonna be stretching for it. But the effect is strong.
That is the one downside I did see when play testing this. It's it gets to 7 and 9 mana quickly, and in mono black, not a lot of ramp, but yeah, and that ward is not terrifying at all. People will discard a land to kill this any day of the week. But I still think it's a very cool card. I love the
I
evasion
think,
of.
I think you can ramp pretty easy. Just put an Urborg and a Cabal Coffers in your deck, and you're fine.
Yeah,
That's
you,
it.
you have all
Done.
those stupid
Yeah.
rituals, you know. So
Yeah,
kinda
Jet
like fake.
Medallion.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, Maha, it's very cool. I like this deck a lot.
It's a hate generator.
Is it?
That's I think so. People don't want
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're only affecting opponents, and their creatures become nothing basically.
You literally said bunch of board wipes.
Yeah. Or -1/-1 count. Like I'm gonna say it's a pretty toxic deck. Not, not the keyword toxic, but people will want to kill this card.
I mean, yeah, people will want to kill commanders. That's like the
Oh
name
no,
of the game.
hey, I'm just saying, if we're grading it on a threat level, this is gonna be a higher threat level for people at the table.
That's fair. Let's go ahead and move on to the grades. I like this card a lot. Like I said, I really want to build it myself, and I probably will. This is getting a B from me.
Yeah, I can't give this an A, but I will give it a B.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty comfortable giving this bird a B.
Well, there we go. Maha, it's Feather's Night. Gets the average grade of a B. Moving on, that was the only mono black. Moving on to mono red. It's Dragonhawk, Fate's Tempest. It is not Culligan. It's 3 and 2 red for a 5/5 legendary creature, bird, dragon. It's got flying, and it says when it enters or attacks, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 4 or greater. You may play those cards until your next end step. At the beginning of your next end step, Dragonhawk deals 2 damage to each opponent for each of those cards that are still exiled.
Garbage.
There's a lot going on in this card that I mean, I don't know if I'm stoked on any of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It is a tough card. I really wanted to like this. I think David also mentioned that they really wanted to like this card when it was first announced too. And then they read the card, and it's not up to par with what we want it to do.
Yeah.
It's very restrictive.
Restrictive, slow, like I don't know, dude.
It's
I
a
mean,
very
this card itself is very expensive, and then you're hoping. I mean, obviously you're in red, so the treasure production's there, but like power 4 or greater in a mono red deck, you're spending a lot of mana each of your turns, and you really want to try and get the most amount of cards possible. So I just that and they still stay exiled. Like if this would have said like at the end of turn, put them at the bottom of your deck, maybe it would have been better. But
Yeah.
I will say, I'll give you an example of a turn that would be pretty mean. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say you've got 3 creatures, including this, obviously, on the field that are power 4 or greater.
Mm-hmm.
You swing in with all 3. You will exile 3 cards. Let's say you had a triple damage effect on board. You're doing 18 damage to all of your opponents by just leaving them in exile. That's a lot.
Yeah. I guess.
sure.
I mean, I could see. Yeah, I see it. It's just a
Just playing
bummer.
devil's advocate there because there
Hey,
is that
hey,
lane
good,
of
good
making
advocate.
it work that way, but
I get it.
it is obviously steps you got to do there.
It's a bummer that they had to have that stupid text 4 or greater. Because of course you just want a bunch of little tokens, and then you want to exile a ton, but no, can't have fun.
Yeah, I wish there was a stipulation of until your next turn, the end of your next turn, because I hate seeing the text of until your end step, because what if I wanted to do something before I got to the attack? I want to do something before combat. And now you're telling me that I can't. I have to save my mana to see what I exile after combat. I don't like that.
I mean, I'm glad. I mean, Wizards has definitely not put any busted cards out recently. So
True.
I'm glad they're continuing with the trend.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right. There's no busted cards. What was that last set called? Nadu? I don't know.
Nah, dude.
Nah, dude. I don't like this card.
Same.
Even though I talked it up and talked about how you can build it. Definitely. If you like this card, build it. But I personally, these commander grades are our opinions. So let's move on to those grades. We will start with Steven.
F.
Wow.
First of the
I
video.
don't think I can go that low. I'm actually just going to give it middle of the road here. I'm giving it a C.
Wow. Well, I'm going back down to a D.
Well, D for Dragonhawk. That is the average grade. It gets a D. And the final card we are talking about in the monocolored legendaries is the mono green one. It's Lumra, Bellow of the Woods. 4 and 2 green for a star legendary creature elemental bear. It's got vigilance, it's got reach, and it says its power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. And whenever Lumra enters, mill 4 cards. Then return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Man,
Banger.
what a epitome of just one turn swing kill of somebody.
Potentially.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man.
A lot of lands.
So, I mean,
And this is definitely a mono green landfall deck, no?
yeah,
Yeah.
100,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
It is a bummer. It doesn't have evasion to get around blockers, so if it get blocked, womp womp.
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, when you think mono green, you don't think anything that could give anything trample.
Oh, shut up.
Definitely not.
I understand that we're gonna build around this damn card. I'm just saying. It has keywords. Why can't it just have one more?
Just one more.
Or just get rid of one.
Make
I don't
it
know.
better.
Get rid of reach. I don't care about that. Nah, I do actually care about
Let's
that.
be able to target it twice a turn and do something with it.
This card's good though. Okay, I'm sorry. I know. I said it doesn't have evasion, but it's still good. Very.
Yeah, vigilance there is incredible. You're gonna do a lot of damage and block whatever's coming back at you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting Bristly Bill in this deck.
Do it. Yeah, it'll be a lot. Put as many fetches as you can in this deck.
Yeah.
And then just continue to put them back in play.
Dude, you could basically build that stupid standard list that was like, I'm gonna dump 14 land on my turn at once and do some
Yeah.
stupid shenanigans.
You could. I mean, the card that wins that deck is Gruul.
That's true.
You
That's
could
cool.
put
Yeah, that's true.
Can put it in here, but you could put Nisa because that's
Yeah.
mono green.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Good card.
Lumra,
Good.
Lumra, Bellow of the Woods, good card, good. Are we scared of it being 6 mana? Mono green, probably not.
No.
Nah. I think you can get 6 mana on turn like 4.
Yeah, so I think David would say this is just a big dumb beater,
I understand that. That's
Which-
why I said it.
which is true because it doesn't have any evasion, like you mentioned. can't get through for damage. A 1/1 can block this, and that's fine.
On its face, but yeah.
On its face, yes. But I still think it's good. I still think it's powerful. Just milling 4 cards. We're going to probably play, I don't know. Dredge seems pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That's a good lane to go
Mono
down.
green Dredge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got some good green dredgers.
I don't know. Let's move on to the grades for this final card. We will start with you, Shane.
I like Lumra. I'm gonna give her a B.
Yeah, you know, I think I will agree with you. I, too, will give Lumra a B.
And I will jump on that high grade train and give it an A.
Wow.
Womp
Well, there we
womp.
Yeah.
go. Lumra, Bellow of the Woods, gets the average grade of a B. And that is going to do it for us today. If you guys liked that video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Staying up to date. All these other videos. Like I said, if you're watching this in the future, then check the description for the other links to the other commander grades from Bloomburrow. If you're watching this as it comes out, stay subscribed so you don't miss those videos when they're coming out. In the description, you will also find links to our social media accounts. That's X, that's TikTok, that's Instagram, at Guys at Magic for each one. Don't forget to follow us on those. On the screen right now, those are all of our Patreon subscribers. We got extra bonus content over on Patreon that those guys are seeing that you can't see here on YouTube. If you wanted to check out what they are seeing, which is not here on YouTube, check the description for that link and also consider subscribing. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Have a good Guys at Magic day.
Bye bye.